guys, this is Jackie, your nerdy crafter, and for this week I decided to do some resin hacks and tips. Many of you are a bit worried about working with resin, so hopefully this will get you started. Some of the tips in here are things that I learned from other crafters, and some are my own. So make sure you check out the description box below. I listed all the awesome crafters down there. Want to know why some pieces are shiny and some pieces are not after you take them out of the mold? That's going to depend on your mold. If you look at the right one, it's a shiny mold, so you'll get shiny pieces. The one on the left is not shiny at all, so your pieces will come out foggy. If your piece is foggy, there's an easy way to fix it. Just take any glaze that you have and put it right on top. Watch it magically change. I personally use a very thin glaze, but you can use any that you have. Equally, you can also glaze it with resin. If you're using any of these two mold makers, chances are you will be getting a non-shiny mold. Not sure if your sticker is good for resin? Here's a simple test. Put a part of it under water. If it changes color, then it's not good for resin. Here are some ways to make it good for resin. You can coat it with Mod Podge. Just make sure you coat back and front. Don't have Mod Podge? That's okay. You can use packing tape. Make sure you surround your piece from the front and the back. Push it down, make sure that there's no air bubbles, and cut right around it. Now it's ready for resin. If you don't properly seal it, resin will get inside and the color will change. If you're getting too many bubbles in your project, that's okay. Once you stir it, you're definitely going to get some bubbles. Here's an easy tip. Just let it sit for about 10 minutes and watch the bubbles magically disappear. Once you pour your resin in your mold and you still have bubbles, here's how to get rid of them. First method is by putting some heat on there. Don't let the heat linger too long, otherwise you're going to create a kind of crust. So just pop the bubbles very quickly. If you don't have a barbecue lighter, here's the second method. Gently blow through a straw. Blowing normally without a straw does not work. The straw really makes a difference. Sometimes when you put your sticker in, there's a bit of a problem. Sometimes the sticker keeps floating back to the surface. That's because there's a tiny air bubble that keeps pushing it upwards. Here's an easy way to get rid of it. Put a toothpick on your sticker and keep moving it around your mold. That's going to eventually create a suction, push your piece down, and get rid of that little air bubble that you can't see. Now the piece is firmly at the bottom. Now you can go ahead and put the glitter that you want to be at the front part of your resin piece. Here are two really fun ways to create backgrounds. We're going to put some more glitter that's going to stay at the background of the picture. 2 hours after that, you're going to take your Perlex powder and dust it with a brush right in the back. For more detail on that, make sure you watch my video. If you want to make a solid white background, I'm sure you've heard some crafters say that it's not a good idea to use paint. Here's the good news. You can use paint. It is suggested that you use acrylic paint, but try to find a very thick one, not the liquidy ones. And here's how you do it. You mix your resin according to package instructions, and then you take a nice dollop. Don't put too much. Just enough to get exactly the white that you want. The only thing you need to know is that instead of leaving it for 12 hours to cure, you're going to have to leave it for 24 hours. That's why most people think that paint doesn't work. You just have to be a little more patient on the curing time. Next tip, if you want to reuse your containers, just leave your popsicle stick inside and let it fully cure. Once it's fully cured, you're just going to be able to peel it off like magic. The best way to know if your container is reusable, it will have the PP symbol underneath it. Most fruit cups and jello cup containers are perfect for reusable resin crafting. If some resin accidentally fell on your non-wooden work surface, here's an easy way to clean it up. First, wipe it off with a dry paper towel, and then take some rubbing alcohol on your paper towel and clean up the surface. That's going to prevent it from getting sticky and discolored. Another thing you should know is that resin has an expiration date. Once you open it, you have about 6 months to use it. Otherwise, it will turn really yellow. As you can see here, this is getting close to its expiration. That's why some of you are wondering, why is it that your pieces are turning yellow? And that's because your resin is pretty much finished. So before buying your resin kit, make sure you open it up and look on the inside. If the hardener is too yellow, don't get it. That means it was on the shelf for way too long. Is your resin turning too yellow? Or is it actually cracking in your projects? That's usually because you've mixed too much resin. So you'll have to make your project smaller, or actually mix in smaller amounts at a time and let them fully cure before adding more. As you can see, I've made that mistake too. I hope that these tips and hacks help you guys be a little less scared of resin. If you have sensitive skin, make sure that you do wear gloves when working with resin. And if you're also sensitive to fumes, wear a mask. Make sure that you have fun, experiment. It might seem a little scary, but it's actually super versatile. Let me know in the comment section below which one's your favorite hack. Until then, I will see you guys next week.